I just want to introduce myself. My name is Dr. Teresa Hill, and I'm the Deputy Director for Arizona Educational Foundation. Actually, a recently retired principal. I was at Walden Grove High School for 11 years and have been an educator in Arizona for 30 years. So at this time, I would definitely like to take this opportunity to say thank you to Dr. Tai. Thank you so much for having me and allowing us to have this opportunity. All right, so today what we'll be doing is just sharing all of the great things that AEF does and how we can support you and celebrate you. So if I can click through here, just a little bit about our mission. Our mission is to celebrate excellence and cultivate equity in pre-K through 12th grade public education. And you'll be able to see that through all of the programs that we'll be sharing today. We are a nonprofit, and happy to say the largest nonprofit that supports education. And so these are just all of our donors. I want to make sure I give them a shout out. And so that way, you know, in case you shop at any of these places, you have the opportunity to say thank you for supporting education, because our hope is that all of our money is going directly to the schools and to you. These are all the programs we have. We actually have 7 programs that we are running. You may be familiar with 1 or 2, and maybe you are familiar with all of them. And the hope is today that we share a little bit about each of them so that you have an opportunity to know how you can use them in your schools. So the first program we're going to talk about is the Arizona Teacher of the Year program. We currently celebrate and recognize 10 outstanding teachers for the Teacher of the Year. And of those 10, we narrowed down to the top 5. And those top 5 are called Ambassadors for Excellence. And then the final Arizona Teacher of the Year is represents Arizona in the National Teacher of the Year. And so I can tell you that we're really excited because we actually aren't very far away from being able to do that. We have currently recognized our top 5. The other in the top 10 are semifinalists, and we will be having our Teacher of the Year awards on October 15th. And I do have to let you know that if you are interested in coming and celebrating these wonderful educators, we do have a special $25 entry fee rate for educators. And so we can make sure that you're able to get in at a decent price. So the cool thing about this program is that it's open to any Arizona teachers that are currently working in Arizona through the Department of Ed, or also through the Bureau of Indian Education. They should be, or they must be, full-time teachers and have an active teaching status when they apply and intend to keep teaching the following year. They can teach any grade level, pre-K through 12th grade, and any content. They must have at least 6 full years in the classroom, and their 3 most recent years must be in Arizona. And then the last eligibility requirement is that they do not have received any kind of recognition through Arizona Educational Foundation as a Teacher of the Year, a semifinalist, or an ambassador. So those are the eligibility requirements. The timeline is we start and open up the nominations in January, and then those nominations go through April 29th. I'm not sure if you know this, but anybody can nominate a Teacher of the Year. So they can nominate themselves. It can be a colleague that nominates them, an administrator, a family member, or just a friend. And once those applications close on April 29th, then we reach out to those people that have been nominated, congratulate them on being nominated, share the application with them, and encourage them to complete the application. And I'm going by last year's date. A day or two kind of in there is when it'll be due, but June 19th or kind of middle of June is when the deadline for those applications are due. And then from there, the review team reviews and scores every single application And in August, the top 10 are selected. At the end of August, those top 10 will continue on to an interview. It usually occurs in Phoenix. And then from that interview, the top 5 or the ambassadors for excellence are named. And we wait until October 15th when we have the Teacher of the Year ceremony to determine and announce the Arizona Teacher of the Year, as well as celebrate the top 10 teachers that made it. So this is a sample that some districts and or counties use. Although I said that anybody can nominate, a lot of times people like to have a system. So this system consists of allowing, whether it's a district or with its schools within your county, to have them come up with their school teacher of the year. And then from there, those people represent their school. A good timeline for that to happen is in February and March. And then those people will go on to a county or district teacher of the year pool. And you absolutely should celebrate them. That celebration for many people occurs either at the end of the year in May or at the beginning of the year assemblies in August. So you recognize all of them, but yet they also act as the pool of nominees that are going to represent your district and or county. And then those that you select from there, you want to make sure that you determine how many nominations you're going to take. And that really is up to you. For example, you could have 10 schools say, we're going to nominate 1 to the Arizona Teacher of the Year for every 10 schools that we have in our district or in our county. Again, that number is up to you and what you decide. And good time for that to happen is to select that in mid-April so that you make that deadline of getting that nomination in by the end of April. These I have to share with you are our top 10 for this year. I'm really excited to see that they spread across the state. We have finalists, semifinalists from Lake Havasu, some from Phoenix, from Tempe. We have one from Tuba City, a couple from Tucson, one from Wilcox. If you can see grade levels, they hit all elementary, middle school, and high school levels. And then if you look at content, they also hit many different areas of that. So the cool thing about this is I just wanted to make sure you see that it's open to everybody and anybody can win. So super excited to see who our winners will be. If you see on the left, those are our ambassadors for excellence, and they are up for the Teacher of the Year award. So before I go into the spelling bee, this is all of Teacher of the Year. And instead of taking all the questions at the end, if you have a question right now, you can just pop off your mute and just ask me. Otherwise, I'll keep going. Okay. Oh, yep, go ahead. Okay. Thought I had a question, but we'll keep going. All right. So the next program that we're going to talk about is the Arizona Spelling Bee. And this program is open to any schools in Arizona. So it is for public schools, it's for charter schools, private schools, home schools, any school can participate in the spelling bee. And currently registration is open. In order for a school to be eligible for the Arizona Spelling Bee, they must register with the Scripps National Spelling Bee. And so that can be done at www.spellingbee.com. Again, that registration is open and will close by December 30th. So any schools that want to be part of this process must go through that registration. And the way that the bees work is many times there'll be a classroom bee that goes into a grade level bee. And then from there, the schools have their bees. The winners of the school spelling bees will go on to a district bee. And then the district bee winners go on to a county spelling bee. Maricopa, because we have so many schools, we do have 6 regions. And so those are broken up into regions and go into those region bees. And then the 27 winners from the counties and regions go on to the State B. So we always have 27 finalists. Our State B is on March 18th. If you notice the dates that I have, that's when those Bs need to be completed by. And then the winner of the Arizona State B goes on to the National Scripps B in Washington, D.C. the week of Memorial Day week, yes. So I have to give a shout out to Alaya Alpert. She is our Arizona 2022 state champion. She went on to Washington for the first time ever. And while she was there, she actually made it to the finals out of 285 participants, and she tied for 9th. So she is 11 years old, and eligibility ends at 13 or 8th grade. And so she does have a couple years of eligibility, and I can tell you she will be a tough one to beat because she's definitely motivated to continue on. Any questions about the spelling bee? Okay, our next program is the A+ School of Excellence. I'm happy to say that Fiestable Charities is our sponsor for this program. And the purpose of this program is to identify and give public recognition to outstanding public schools in Arizona. We also want to make sure that we have a comprehensive framework of key criteria for school effectiveness that can be served as a basis for self-assessment and planning, and also give the opportunity to facilitate communication and sharing of best practices within and among schools. So there's 4 steps to the A+ process. The first step is the application. I can tell you that the application process is very in-depth, and it is more than just 1 or 2 people completing the application, but rather getting all of your constituents involved in working through that application. The deadline, which is different, it's been a couple years now that we've changed the deadline, but the timeline has changed, and that application is due August 30th. If you're considering applying, you definitely want to make sure that you're using your school year prior. So I would, if you're looking at applying for next August, I would definitely start having those conversations and getting things moving, because it does take quite a few months if you do it correctly with involving all your stakeholders. And so after the 30th, we have pre-screening. That's actually where we're at right now. This week, we are pre-screening all of the applications, and we use A+ principals, A+ administrators to create teams that use a rubric to pre-screen that A+ application. And then from there, if the school scores high enough, they go on to a site visit, and that same team will come into the school to verify that what they see in the application is happening in the school. And then from there, that team will bring a recommendation to the team of judges, and an award is given for A+, and that occurs in February or March. So to be eligible, schools must be an Arizona accredited public school or a school operating under the Bureau of Indian Education. They must be a pre-K to 12th grade school, and they must have an A or B school rating from ADE. I can tell you that we understand that currently there aren't grades, and the assessments have changed in the pandemic, and there's a lot of factors that are affecting this. So we do have a process. If you don't have an A or a B, there is supplemental information that you can provide and possibly still apply. So if you think that you are in that area, you would just need to reach out to me and I can talk through that process. If you're a new school, you have to be in existence for at least 5 years, and the principal must complete at least 2 years of being the principal at that school. And that is a change. It used to be 3, but we understand with the challenges that we're facing this year that we can make this adjustment. And then also just not refusing any OCR, civil rights complaints, and no pending suits. So the way the application process goes is you have 9 sections that you have to touch on. And through those 9 sections, you share all the information about what makes your school go above and beyond. And so the A+ is really looking for schools not to be ordinary, but to be extraordinary. So as you're looking through this application and you look at each of these sections, we realize that effective and good schools are more than just their scores. They're all of these things that are in these sections. And so that's why we target all of these areas. When we have the pre-screening, just so you're aware, we do pre-screen every single application. It does take anywhere from 2, I say 1, it says 1 to 2 here, but we just started yesterday and it was more like 2 to 4 hours. And so those judges that are judging have all been through this A+ process. They take it very seriously and really spend a lot of time and effort to make sure that they're scoring appropriately and giving every school an opportunity to get a site visit. Once those happen, and if a school does get a site visit, then more than likely that same team of administrators and maybe others will come and then they go visit the school. And this does take a day and a half. During that time, they visit every single classroom. They interview stakeholders. So there'll be a student meeting, a certified staff meeting, a support staff meeting, and a community meeting. And those meetings help just kind of gather data and information just like the classrooms do. And their main goal as a team is to verify that what you wrote in the application is actually happening on a daily basis on campus. And so if that is happening, then they will bring the recommendation to the team and the schools will receive A+. And definitely the best part of this is the celebrations that occur once you receive A+. And so the benefits to doing A+, because it is a process, is that it is self-reflective. I can tell you through my process doing it, whether we did or didn't get a visit. Of course, we wanted to get a visit and we did, but if we didn't, we learned a lot about our school. And we really, it allowed my staff to see all the great things that we are doing. And in this day and age, we all need to know that we're doing a great job. Definitely hard, it's a hard job. And so the opportunity to be able to celebrate and see all the great things you're doing really kind of helps put things in perspective. And because you bring all of your stakeholders in the process, then it really does bring that community together. We do encourage and make sure that valuable feedback is being given back to the schools, whether they get a visit or they don't get a visit. We want to make sure that they are getting that feedback to be able to move on. And then if you get an A+, it does increase public confidence. It is an economic driver and greater parent and community involvement. I know there are real estate agents that use that as their tool to sell a house. Is, oh, well, this house is in the district of this school, and this school is an A+ school. So it definitely helps in that sense. We do have a webinar for the A+ application. If you noticed the 9 sections, it can look overwhelming, but if you are going to do it, I encourage you to look at that webinar. And I didn't say it earlier, but in the Teacher of the Year, we also have a webinar for the Teacher of the Year application. So both of those are great resources to use to help you as you apply for those applications. Any questions about A+? Okay, our next program that we're going to talk about is our Teach STEM program. And the purpose of our Teach STEM program is to encourage students to go into a STEM career and or also to go into a teaching area, and hopefully in a teaching area that is STEM focused. And so there are 2 parts to our Teach STEM program. Our first is our Teach STEM Explorers, and this program is for grades 5 through 8. And in our website, our Arizona Educational website, we have self-guided series lessons that are STEM lessons. So any teacher, doesn't matter what content they are, can go into our website and look at these STEM lessons and use them in their classrooms. So they are at this level designed to facilitate STEM career and career exploration, and they're online lessons that provide a guide for the teacher, and they provide a slide deck. And so the idea is to make it very easy for teachers to be able to use and not need a lot of prep before they go in to teach the lesson in the class. And again, that is at our website. And so you can go to our site and see those. I can also tell you that we did just recently receive a grant from ADE to increase our lesson bank. And so over the next few years, we will be having lessons for all grade levels and all contents that will be available to teachers. So you'll see that in the near future. Our other Teach STEM program is our high school component. And what we do is we pair with CTE classes. So these three classes here, Ed Professions, Early Childhood Education, and Career Explorations, are the classes that we partner with for the Teach STEM program. And what we do is we pair that CTE course with a STEM coach, a Teach STEM coach. And the Teach STEM coach comes in and they teach 6 to 10 lessons to that class. During those lessons, they are activities that encourage or that are STEM related and encourage these future teachers. One, hopefully we're helping get them excited about teaching and making a decision that, yes, I do want to go into teaching. And two, it's helping them see that teaching STEM helps them teach in a way that they're integrating all of the contexts and contents instead of separating, oh, I'm teaching a reading lesson, now I'm teaching a math lesson. When you teach a STEM lesson, you're able to pull all of those contents into that activity. Our Teach STEM coaches many times are Arizona Teachers of the Year or ambassadors, but sometimes we don't have one in the area. So if you're rural or we don't have one near you, we do use site science teachers, and we ask that the principal recommend that science teacher, and then we train them in our Teach STEM curriculum. We actually have Teach STEM curriculum and lessons that they use, but they also have flexibility to use some of their own lessons as well. The beauty of this program is that it is completely free. And thanks to our grants and our donors, AEF is able to cover all of the costs. So we do pay the Teach STEM coach a stipend per class that they teach. We do pay the CTE teacher a stipend because they are organizing dates for that person to come in. They're tying what is happening with the Teach STEM into their lesson planning or the things that they're doing in their class. And then if, like, for example, we talked about a site science teacher, if he or she is on your campus and needs to go into the classroom at a different time than their plan, and there needs to be a sub, we cover up to half-day substitute coverage for that coach to go into that CTE classroom. So there's absolutely no fee to the districts, and we cover all of that. Any questions about Teach STEM before I go on to the next one? Okay, our next program is our Principals Leadership Academy of Arizona, better known as PLAA. And the purpose of our Principals Leadership Academy is to support first-year teachers and emerging leaders and help train them in an Arizona-based way that's focusing on best practices so that we can help them either push through that first year and give them the support they need, or give them the training that they need as emerging leaders so that when they go into that position, they're more prepared. And so what's unique about our program is that we include new principals, and first year principals is what we say, but with the pandemic, we have allowed second year principals as well that are still new, that had a whole different experience last year. But we also take aspiring principals. So if you have maybe a dean of students or a assistant principal, or maybe even a teacher, student council advisor, someone that you think would be someone that you want to see moving forward into leadership at your district or at your school, they can participate in our PLAA program. And so our curriculum is guided by the national standards of educators and also from our A+ principles. So we really connect our PLAA program with our A+ principles. And so we look at these main topics and we touch on each of them each session that we meet. So our sessions are once a month. They are on a Saturday from 9 to 3 p.m. They are in person because we want to be able to engage them with the guest speakers. We want to put them in real world scenarios and experiences, and we want to make sure that they're actively engaged. And so we feel very strongly about doing that and giving them those opportunities. And something unique this year, this program has been held in Phoenix. During the pandemic, it was all Zoom, but now that we brought it back in person, we have moved it up and down I-10. And so some of our meetings our first meeting was in Casa Grande. From there, we have a couple meetings in Tucson, a couple meetings in Phoenix, and a couple meetings in Zoom. And based on the registration and the participants, I'm hoping that next year we may even be able to move it into other areas, like maybe we have one in Yuma, we have one in Flagstaff, one in Stafford, and just kind of get it across the state so that all principals are able, or all administrators and or teachers that want to be part of this program can do that. And we really, in moving these, we really focus on the different districts in those areas so that people are getting to see things outside of their district as well. Another really cool thing about the PLAA is that we have mentors. And so every participant is paired with one A+ principal as a mentor. And that mentor meets one-on-one with them. We ask that they do at least monthly, once a month check-ins. For some people, it may be more than once a month. If I have a new principal who's really needing a lot of support, it may be once a week. And then we do ask that the A+ principals allow the participants to go and shadow them for a day. And this is more than just a couple-hour tour. It's more coming in, seeing me do the job for the day. So the participant is in the room when the A+ principal is meeting with a difficult parent, so that they're able to kind of see them in action and debrief with them afterwards to help get that on the job, so to speak, training. And then we do allow our participants the opportunity to go on an A+ site visit, although they are not judging and they don't get to give input in that sense. They do get to follow along with the team so that they're able to see the process in action as it's going and see schools that are doing great things. So the benefits of doing this is any participant who fully completes does get 85 continuing education units from the University of Phoenix. But because of the mentors and our guest speakers are all A+ principals, they have the opportunity of networking with them and getting that real world examples and application and understanding and ability to apply all of these practices. So it's definitely a worthwhile program for your up and coming principals to attend. So the cost to attend PLAA is a $1,500 cost for the entire year. This covers their costs for the entire program. So there is a discovery project that they do with a book. Any materials that we have at each session is covered. Lunch is covered at every session, and the learning that they receive from multiple A+ principals. We do have a district discount. If there are multiple participants from the same district, there is a discount that happens, and registration happens between February and August. And I have to make sure that I throw in this little plug because Charles Kurtz and the Kurtz Education Fund generously supports PLAA, and without his support, it would be much more difficult to keep the cost where it is at currently. So with that, any questions about the PLAA program? Okay, the next program we have is our Take Your Legislator to School program. And the purpose of this program is to give legislators a unique opportunity to be paired with an Arizona teacher and get to spend a full day in public education or public school classrooms and see all the great things that public educators are doing. And so the way this program is that we reach out to every single legislator and we encourage them to be part of this program. And if they say that they are interested, then we pair them with Arizona teachers and they come and spend a full day in that classroom. I can say that if you know your local legislators and you want to encourage them to be part of this program, I think that that would help in increasing the participation from the legislators in that. And this is a partnership that allows for conversation to happen between those policymakers and educators. And so the mission is really just to give them a positive and a realistic experience in the classroom and at the school, and hopefully develop a personal and respectful partnership between both parties as well. And so the way that a day may look is a meet and greet with the legislator and the school stakeholders, a student-led tour, an observation of a lesson, maybe the legislator teaches a lesson, they visit other classrooms, and then have a Q&A with chosen students. So this is a typical day of what it looks like with a legislator that comes into your school. Our next program, any questions about that Take Your Legislator to School program? Okay, our next program is Our World. And Our World is a diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI training. And we offer this to schools, businesses, nonprofits, and higher ed. And so what is it? It is free for any school that would like to participate. And it is designed by Arizona Teachers of the Year. And what we do with this program is we support educators and administrators with DEI training and provide immediate strategies for equitable practices that meet the needs of students and families. And so our objectives with the training is to create an understanding of diversity, equity, and inclusion, to establish and expand upon culturally responsive learning environments, to recognize and address bias on school and district campuses, and to foster open communication about the issues of bias, race, identity, and social justice. And so we have several models, I'm not going to read them all to you, available to schools. And the way that you can do this is up to you. So we've seen some districts where they've asked to have every single person come to the training. We have seen others where a school will have, the principal will have just a handful of people that come to the training. There are definitely different trainings. We have the general DEI training. And the cool thing that I like about these trainings is that we're not telling people how to do things. We're really just providing an opportunity to open conversations. And so there's a lot of breakouts and opportunities for people to talk about their school and how they can move forward from the things that they learn. Also really neat is our educators for Indigenous students. And this provides an understanding, a cultural understanding, and how to reach those students. And we're working really hard. We've had some great success with our modules. And so we're continuing to bring others. And so we're currently working on these other ones here, educators for Latino, Latina, Latinx students, integrating Holocaust studies. And so definitely keep looking at our website as we bring more of these trainings to you and are available to you. So the details are that they are 3 hours in length. I know we have had districts ask, can we do it in an hour? And honestly, we have not been able to find a way to get the information and the result that we want done in less than 3 hours. Those breakouts that we have are critical to the training. And so they are 3 hours. A good time to do that would be a half day or a no student day. Like I said, they do have breakout rooms, so they are highly interactive, and they do provide time for that small group and full faculty planning and discussion. So when whoever's in those meetings, whoever comes to these trainings, when they leave, they have actionable items that they take with them to move forward. All of these trainings are done virtually, and so it makes it very easy, no matter where you are in the state, for us to come to you and to do those trainings. And if you're interested in booking a time, know that we do work on your schedule and what works for you. And you can email Renee Levin at ourworld@azedfoundation.org, or you can just go to our webpage, click on Our World Programs, and there's a link there for you to be able to do that. And that is the end of my presentation with all of our programs. I'm going to go